How's it going, everybody? I hope you all are having a wonderful start to your 2025. I just wanted to come on here and do the first part of a little production breakdown for the new Take the Shot EP. Um, the response to this EP has been fantastic, and I couldn't be more thankful. So let's just jump right into it. Before we get started, I do want to point out that I am listening on shitty $40 Amazon in-ear monitors, so it's going to sound a little weird to me. Um, but the audio on the capture should be fine. So, I have No Honor, No Spine pulled up here. I chose this song because it has the most going on. Um, there's three distinct sections to this song. There's the more traditional kind of hardcore, modern kind of metalcore, I guess, section for the first part. There's the meathead part, which starts around like 40 seconds in. And then it goes back up to the more kind of traditional metalcore part with a lot of like, open to eight on the guitars. Um, and it just kind of finishes out from there. So, um, here on Pro Tools, I have everything divided up into basic folders. You've got drums, vocals, bass, guitar, samples, effects, and then my submixes. My submixes are then routed to my stereo through, and then my stereo through is routed to my 2 mix, which is then going to my print. If we look here, we can see that I have the stereo through going to these two sends. Those are my parallel distortion and my parallel compression, which is exactly what it sounds like. Let's actually switch to the mix window here. So stereo through, I'm not sending a ton on my parallel. I believe that is parallel compression, nor on my parallel distortion. I'm actually sending less on my parallel distortion because it is being distorted within an inch of its life here on lo-fi. With lo-fi, a little bit goes a long way, man. So I only have the distortion set to 4.4. I guess like that's 11 o'clock. And then for my parallel compression, I just have the Slate Digital FG Gray. I didn't even touch the attack release. I moved the threshold down. The ratio is pretty high. It's at 8. And I didn't even touch the makeup gain because I didn't want a ton of parallel compression to come through. On my 2 mix, I have it trimmed because this mix is loud. All of the songs on this EP are loud. Virtual mix rack, again, not doing a ton. This Air EQ just to introduce a little bit of high end and kind of bring it back to life. And then this limiting plugin. I love this limiter. This has become my go-to recently. I use this on the Take the Shot EP and another project that I'm working on right now that I'm probably going to do a production breakdown on. So let me go ahead and hit play. Let's do a little bit before the two-step part. So those bus plugins are putting in overtime. They are earning their keep, so to speak. So let's actually start off by taking a look at the drums. So a lot of people have been like, dude, those drums sound great. And I say, thank you. Where'd you record them? These are MIDI drums, actually. So let me go ahead and show you what this looks like. Let me make the drum MIDI channel active. I'm not going to play it because it's just going to eat up my DSP on my laptop. So the drums. I'm using the Modern and Massive library from Get Good Drums. I didn't touch these, so let me actually go ahead and yeah. I didn't touch these because the kit itself sounds great. I think I just touched some of these faders and the turbo knob here. Um, if you're unfamiliar, the turbo knob is basically a blend knob of raw signal to processed signal that Nolly from Get Good did himself. Um, I didn't even touch the turbo on the toms or the cymbals. I really only did it on the kick and the snare. Um, my one gripe with this is that the kick, there's no way to blend between kick in and kick out, but I believe you can do that on the Invasion kit. Um, so there's that. And snare, yeah, I just summed the snare. So I did a video on my TikTok account of how to route audio out from this library specifically into Pro Tools. So let me actually go ahead and solo the drums. Hopefully this works. Yeah. Let's go ahead and just solo the kick. So, sounds pretty good. This is the default kick from Modern and Massive with the turbo knob, I think, at 50%. And I also layered that with a sample from Steven Slate Trigger 2. Yeah, I mean, people really don't like to use samples in their mixes. I don't understand why. Um, Samples are a great way to introduce life back into your mix, and I don't really feel the need to upgrade from the free version. I think the samples in the free version are pretty damn good. So layered in with, actually I guess I could just do that. Layered in with the kick from Modern and Massive. Sounds like that. A little bit of EQ going on here, just to boost some low end about 60 hertz. Take out some mid range at around 500, 532, and then really boost the hell out of like that 6K range. The reason I did that is because I really wanted to get like a machine gun sound. Ultimately, hardcore and metal mixes are going to be compared against, your modern metal mixes, your day seekers, your sleep tokens, your spirit boxes, all very good bands, and that's kind of the drum sound that I had in mind, but with like a more hardcore sounding snare. Um, Say what you want about these modern metal bands, their mixes are insane. A little bit of transient shaping just to up the attack, just so it really comes through, and ultimately you get a kick like that. Moving on to the snare. This is what the snare coming out of Modern and Massive sounds like. And again, that's with turbo, kind of at, I guess, 11 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock or something like that. Again, I layered that with a sample from Steven Slate Trigger 2. And this one, I tuned this as high as it will go just to get that dong dong dong, that kind of dodgeball ping sound, I guess. EQ, oh man, this is crazy. Yeah, take out some low end at about 60, boost the fundamental at around 200, snare fundamentals usually live in like the 150 to 200 range. And because that trigger is tuned higher, I decided to go up to 200. 1K and 1.5K got a boost just to bring out that, again, that pingy sound. And that snare sounds like this now. Let me actually turn off the sends. Just so that the snares play nice together, a little bit of compression. Come on, Pro Tools, you can do it. Yeah, man, it is slamming that compressor. If you're going to use compression, you might as well go all the way with it. And then again, transient shaper, just so that the attack, you get that initial hit of the snare drum. Now, the sends are what really gives the snare its life. It's going to this reverb. Hi, what was that? The snare reverb that I'm using, let me just go ahead and open up my effects folder. Yes, here we go. Snare verb. This is Verb Suite Classics by Slate Digital. I think this is just the default preset that loads up. I didn't really feel a need to, play around with it all that much. I mean, there you go. That's the bread and butter of it right there. Man, I hate it when Pro Tools does that. Yeah, toms they're not really getting anything too crazy. Just a high shelf at around 10K, 11K maybe, just to really bring out some life, and then a compressor to glue it all together. I didn't even touch the hat in the ride. Overheads. This is where a lot of your stereo information is going to come from. So, overhead, I blended together the large diaphragm condenser and the small diaphragm condenser signal coming out of Modern and Massive. Let's turn that off real quick. That's the large diaphragm condenser. I wasn't a huge fan of that one, so I used the small diaphragm condenser. And then together it just sounds great. So overheads. Again, I didn't really want a ton of like low end information in my overheads, because if I did, it would end up sounding like that. I just wanted to take out that bleed coming from the kick drum and the lower tuned toms. I was more concerned about getting cymbals. Little CLA 76, 1176 action using that preset. I really don't want to say that word. Just to glue it together. With. I had a professor tell me that when using compressors, you want to use them in such a way that you don't really notice that they're there. And that was kind of the approach that I took with the compressors on the overheads on this EP, at least. And on the vocals too. This plugin right here, Slate Digital Fresh Air, this is a workhorse, let me tell you. Let me play it without, and then I'll bring it in and we'll just A-B the two. There's your cymbals right there. Yeah, dude, Fresh Air I think it's a harmonics based plugin. So it doesn't do any compression. It just amplifies the high end information. So as you can see, like a little bit goes a long way, man. If you do any more than this, it's just gonna hurt to listen to. Let's look at rooms. Okay, so rooms are weird with me. I get that rooms give the drums their tone, but at the same time, I really only want the rooms to open up when the snare hits, so it acts as a natural reverb, and that's what I did. So I high pass frequency the hell out of this guy. I mean, you can see here my frequency is set to almost 500 hertz, giving a little boost around the 1K range, and then just the tiniest little bump at 6.3 LA2A because it's an uh, incredible compressor. So I sidechained the snare to the room so that the rooms only open up when the snare hits. So this is what the rooms sound like. I only want that sound when the snare hits. So here's what I did. Hi, Pro Tools, how are you doing? I sent my trigger to a bus, and then on my gate plugin on my rooms, sidechain is turned on, and the key is set to room open. I don't know why, it only takes one channel. And then you just tune that to taste. So when you turn the snare on, you can get that sound. The goal with drums is that each individual piece is not going to sound great on its own. It's only when everything is together that it's really going to shine. Room mono, I treated this like I treat my hose channel. So that is a trick from the engineer producing legend, Miss Sylvia Massey, where she takes a garden hose, wraps it around the kit, and sticks a 57 on the end. I don't use a 57. I use this guy right here. This is a Red 12 gauge audio microphone. It's an Omni mic, and I just plug it into the end of the hose, and then that goes into the board, and I capture that. And this is pretty much how I treat it. I mean, I turn it up with a trim plugin, low pass it, distort it. Kind of sounds like wet dog ass. But when you bring all of these pieces together, that's your drum sound. And that, again, this is just what works for me. I'm not saying that this is like an end-all, be-all type deal. Let me open up the subs folder just so we can take a look at what the drums are looking like there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really doing too much with the drums. I just turn them down a little bit because without it, it's going to blow your friggin' head off. And then I'm sending it to a little bit of parallel compression. What am I using for parallel compression, I wonder? Yep, FG Gray. Dude, this plugin is great. I don't know what compressor this is based off of. But dude, it sounds great, and you blend it in. Okay, so let's listen. Let's do a little AB. Here's drums without the parallel compression. Hi. Wow, that was a lot. The results speak for themselves. That was planned, actually. That was planned. Pro Tools crapping out on me. So yeah, that's the drums on No Honor, No Spine. I mean, again, a little bit goes a long way with all of these plugins. Do everything to taste. Do whatever the song calls for. There's no really one right or wrong way to do drums. This is just what worked for me for this EP. Going forward in the future, if we use Modern and Massive, I'll probably use this as a good jumping off point. But if we want to use, like, I don't know, Invasion or One Kit Wonder Brutal, we could do that. I actually demoed this in One Kit Wonder, the Architect's Kit. So now that we have all that information, this is what the drums sound like on their own.